Have you ever stood in a room full of people, but yet felt completely alone? That's what you call isolation. Hi, I'm Mark Beggs from Right Frame Academy, and we're talking to you over 3 or 4 videos about depression and helping you cope with depression and move away from it. One of the big things with depression is isolation. In the first video we did, I talked to you about my friend Tom. Tom was someone who was a salesperson, as I explained. And just to paint the picture one more time, Tom was someone who I knew since 1995. Fantastic salesperson, fantastic personality, always smiling, and his eyes always reflected that smile. So he always looked happy. He always enjoyed what he was doing. But then he hit a bad patch when he lost his job around 2005, 2006. When I met Tom after about a year or 2 years after him losing his job, I was surprised in how he looked. Nothing like what he used to look before. The razzmatazz was gone, the smile was gone, but the real Tom was still in there. The big thing when he talked to me that I couldn't get over was how bad depression was hitting him. He used to get up every morning, get dressed, had a shower, put on a suit and tie, make sure his shoes were polished, ready for work, ready to go out there looking for work. He'd drive the kids to school, say goodbye to the wife, but then he would come straight back home, get undressed and go back into bed. And he would stay in bed till at least an hour before the kids were due home, get dressed again and go and pick them up with a smile on his face. Can you imagine the effort he had to make to do that every day and tell no one? He was completely isolated. And isolation is a terrible thing for depression because you do feel all alone. You feel like no one else is going through what you're going through. You feel like you're the only person that this has ever happened to. And you somehow need to break the cycle. And breaking the cycle is important, but breaking the cycle is a huge effort. And we know it takes a huge effort. But think about Tom. Think about the effort it took him every day to go back and get undressed. And to live the lie every day and telling his wife and kids about the job interviews he went for and the companies he met and maybe something might come about. When in fact, it was all a complete and utter lie. He was isolated. And his isolation started, probably finished really, when I rang him one day, out of the blue, about doing a project for me. Just a short-term project I wanted. Didn't pay well, but I needed someone that had done sales and who I remembered as being a fantastic, bubbly character. So to break the isolation, I had him come to my office every day at 9:30 to do some work on the computer and start phoning people. It got him out of the rhythm of going back to bed. And slowly he started to change. But it took a lot of effort every morning for him to come. So once or twice I actually had to ring him to make sure he was on his way and not back in bed. But you have to break the isolation. Whether it's forcing yourself to go and sit in a coffee shop or ringing an old friend and just having that cup of coffee. Because when you break the isolation, you sort of break the pattern of everything you're going through. I remember when one of my companies closed, Dotty Advertising, it was a tough time. But I had a friend of mine who made sure that I was always up every morning and made sure I was cheerful. He did it by making sure that after I dropped my daughter to school, he had a coffee with me. We discussed the day and I was starting to write a novel. The novel was my way of doing something. And we'll talk about purpose, having a purpose in life in one of our next videos, which you can look at as well. But that was making sure I was busy. And that's what isolation is all about. You're not busy and your mind feels it's closed, that you're in a space that you'll never escape from. So if you're going through a tough time at the moment, try and break the isolation. Even if it's only for 1 hour a day, try and get out there to talk to someone. Trying to get out there and ring someone for that one cup of coffee. And talk about anything, football, golf, rugby, whatever, kids, whatever you want to talk about. Try and break the isolation. If you know someone who's going through depression, try and break the isolation with them. And don't talk about what they're going through. Leave that for another day. Talk about other stuff in life. Talk about taxes. You're not happy with the government, whatever, the weather. Try and bring them out for that 1 hour a day or 1 or 2 hours a week and break the isolation cycle. Because depression is made up of a number of things. It's isolation, purpose in life, feeling lonely, feeling like you've nothing to do and nobody wants you to do anything. So you're trying to break that cycle. So my challenge for you today, if you know someone who's going through depression, if you know someone who maybe is not getting out of bed as much as they should, maybe the last time you saw them, they didn't dress that well, or they didn't look like their old self. What's stopping you from ringing them up and giving them half an hour of your time and maybe £4 to buy a coffee? What's stopping you from ringing someone who you haven't seen in a while and saying, how are things? How are you feeling? People whose businesses may have failed. Maybe you know someone's going through difficult marriage problems. Maybe someone's having a problem with their children. Or maybe someone has lost a job or is not happy in a job, and you might have an idea they're going through stuff. You don't even have to talk about what they're going through. Just get out there, ring someone and seeking your help, because we all can help. We all know people who really we do know that they're going through a tough time or some type of problems. But it's easier to do nothing than to do something. So help someone get out of that isolation cycle. Make the phone call and go and help them. And if you're in that cycle, lift up the phone and ring someone and ask someone, would you like a coffee? And go and chat about something and try yourself and break out of that cycle. We know it's hard. We know it's extremely tough. But that's why we're hoping with this series of videos that we're doing, that we might give you some idea and some plans and some way and path of helping you maybe not beat depression, but manage it and manage yourself and manage your life going forward. If you do have any comments, or if you'd like to get in touch, please email me at mark@rightframeacademy.com, or even post some comments underneath. We've had a lot of comments and people emailing in about situations that they're facing and what they're going through. And we want to help in any way we can. And if we can't help, we'll point you in the right direction. I'm Mark Beggs from Right Frame Academy. Thanks very much for listening. Hi, before you go, just to say to you, we've produced a number of these videos especially for you and to help people you may know on depression, from isolation to purpose in life. If you do know someone that these may help, I really would appreciate it if you could pass them on or give them the link to these videos. Thanks very much for listening, and we do appreciate your time.